Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the channel, and today I'm going to be trying to recreate one of the most elegant and unique walkers I've ever seen, known as the Strandbeest. What's especially unique about it is it's actually wind-powered, and it just so happens that this game, Trailmakers, has wind now. So a wind-powered walker is theoretically possible in this game, and there just so happens to be a real-life mechanism that I could try to replicate to see if we can recreate it, but it's gonna come with some challenges. So let's learn a little bit about what a Strandbeest actually is. So it just so happens that strandbeest.com is a thing. So this is invented by a Dutch artist known as Theo Jansen. And if you watch this video, this pretty much shows you everything you need to know about what a Strandbeest is. You can see that it's walking with wind power. These sails are obviously catching the wind and pushing it forward. And this is what we're focusing on right here. This walking mechanism is a very dialed in and precise mechanism that it's very simple at its core. All it does, if you look really closely right here, you can see that there is a circular motion going around in a it's a little inconsistent with the speed on this, but it's going around in a circle, and that circular motion creates this walking motion. And I'm going to attempt to recreate this mechanism in Trailmakers, and I gotta be honest, I don't know how it's gonna go, and I'm gonna tell you why. See, I was trying to look at how this thing was gonna work, and fortunately, there's an explains tab here where Theo Jansen himself actually explains his mechanisms, and we really don't need to look any further than the very intro of this video. It just really gives us everything we need to know about it. Check it out. With an explanation like that, I feel like I'm all set to go. I'm sorry, can we get an appreciation for the... I don't know. I find this is the most... Like, everything about this page, everything about this is very educational, and he is literally here to explain how his mechanisms work. Like,
become longer or shorter.
You see? Like, this is an educational thing, but the way he starts this is so... Look at his face. Look at the face he's making. Like, you know what you're doing. Okay, anyway, this is the actual thing that we're focusing on. So if you want to see the real explanation here, you can go ahead and go to strandbeest.com and see it for yourself. I have recommended. There's a lot of really cool stuff on this website. But to give a Cliff Notes version, you can basically see that this rotational motion here creates this walking shape. So as it goes across the ground, it's relatively flat, and then it lifts up. And, oh, here's an example of it in action right here. That's a really cool looking one. I like that a lot. I don't know if we're going to get that complex with the number of legs. You can just see the walking motion. It actually draws this shape as it walks, so you can see the actual shape of the stepping motion on the paper here. So when I was looking at this mechanism, I was like, this looks pretty simple, right? We basically just have a square right here. We got the hypotenuse up here. I don't know what these lengths are gonna be, or these lengths, but it seems at its core something that might not be too hard to replicate. But there's something about this that worries me a little bit. Listen to what he says right here at this part of the video. This is where I'm getting a little bit worried.
And when I started this, I didn't know which proportion of lengths I needed to get this curve here with the flat bottom.
See, now that's really important, because in order to get this particular curve, we need to use these particular lengths. I didn't think that was a big deal, but...
That's why I wrote a computer program for an Atari computer in 1990, long time ago.
It's the year I was born.
This computer could generate a curve with a given proportion of length.
Okay, so he wrote a computer program to figure out the lengths, but the question becomes, what are the lengths? So all of my dreams kind of got dashed right here, because here are the lengths of all these different segments. I was really hoping that they were going to be proportionally regular. Like, you know, you have your basic rotational segment here, and then everything was going to be like, oh, 2 times that, or 3 times that, or 2.5 times that, like the plantigrade machine that I made a little while ago. That had very regular proportions. The proportions of this, look at this. Our base segment here that we're rotating on is going to be 15, and then 61.9, 40.1, 39.3, 41.5, like nothing here is regular at all, and I don't have this amount of precision available to me in Trailmakers, so I'm just gonna eyeball it and hope for the best. Something tells me I'm not gonna get this exact walking curve here. I'll get something. Let's see what happens. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm just gonna build myself a anchored, oh boy, the wind is actually, the wind really affects things here. Look at that when this thing goes down. I want to anchor this into the ground. All right, this is not going well. Okay, I'm gonna go to the test map to test the actual mechanism, and then we'll come back to the wind map to see if the wind can actually power it once we get it working. If we get it working. Okay, so the other thing that's gonna make this a little bit difficult is we don't really have a single point bearing. We actually have a 2x2 bearing, essentially. If I put this down to 0 strength, it should just flop freely. Let's put that to the test right now. If I put this like that, yeah, look at that. So that's perfect. So hopefully the wind will... Why is that still going? Wait, what? Did I just discover perpetual motion in Trailmakers somehow? It's not stopping. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. There is no input here. There is no power input to this right now. Okay, Trailmakers. I'm just gonna go to the simplest part of this, which was the square section. This is gonna be an absolute nightmare to create. So I think this section should be roughly 3 times as long. I don't know. And do you include the actual rotation point with that? So even though all of these measurements on the square are actually slightly different, it looks regular enough to me that I'm just gonna round them all to the same number. Nothing wrong with that, right? There's no way that could change anything about the end result. But we just don't have the amount of freedom to be that precise. We're not that privileged here. So there we go. I got a big portion of the leg done already. All right, so now let's try to create this triangle part. So I'm going to assume that this part of the triangle is the same length as this part of the square. And then I just got to connect these, which I think a 45-degree angle can work. Yeah, perfect. Look at that. I mean, kind of perfect. Perfect-ish. Doesn't have to work great, just has to work. Okay, so now we have at the bottom a bit of a longer one. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do this plus 1. I don't know. Like, I told you I was gonna eyeball this. I am just eyeballing it right now. Oh no, I just realized this is not gonna work right here. I messed this up. This needs to be attached by another bearing. I think I'm realizing a way to make this more compact, actually. A lot more compact. Ooh, I can replace these with helicopter servos. So if I put a helicopter servo like this, I can actually delete that and move this to the inside. Like that, put another helicopter servo right there, and now I've just condensed this by a lot. Okay, I really hope I'm doing this right so far. Oh, this is not gonna be a 45-degree angle, is it? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a straight line from point A to point B. As long as they just link up here, it should be fine. All right, maybe that's good enough right there. I don't know. All right, so now we have the little bit more of an awkward one going out to the rotational mechanism. And it is definitely a little bit longer than this. However, I think also 45 degrees can work, so I am going to use this as the starting point. Okay, and then how do I get from here down to here? What angle is this gonna be at? Okay, so now I'm actually gonna use a powered servo here, a rotating servo, and this is what everything else is gonna be attached to. All right, here it is trying to work. Everything is, why is everything rigid? I see the problem. Yeah, there's definitely an issue with the way I've attached some of these. See this right here? This side and this side cannot move independently of each other because one side of this servo is static with the opposite side. It's only the center that moves in relation to those. It's not all 3 parts moving independently, and all 3 parts have to move independently. So the way I've done this is just completely off base. Maybe I can salvage this. Okay, that took a lot of maneuvering, but oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Okay, all right. This is good. This is no, it's not that good. It's not a great. The proportions are not good right now. It goes at like a diagonal, and I don't know what to change with it. I mean, this guy composed a computer algorithm to find the perfect segment lengths to get a great flat walking mechanism. This is not that, but is it good enough? All right, you know what? Let me make a very slight modification here. I'm just going to change the rotation point by a single block, and let's see what that does. Very different. Yeah, that's a little bit more extreme on the angle now, isn't it? I really don't know what to do about this right now. All right, let's try a random experiment and move this down by 1. All right, I've gotten it to a little bit of a better state. It just has this drop down at the left side of the pattern. Before it lifts up, it drops down a little bit. So all I've really done is I've actually moved here. I got to go into build mode to show you guys. I've moved the entire leg. I basically did this. I moved the entire leg further from the rotation point by 2 blocks, and it's helped me out a lot. Okay, so theoretically, I should be able to paste this over to the other side, and this should be a walking mechanism. It's really hard to tell if it's gonna work until we just try it. All right, let's see what happens. I'm gonna put the seat in the middle right here, and I should be able to copy and paste this. Should mirror to the other side. Perfect. Okay, let's see if this thing walks. Oh, that's actually promising, but I need them to be offset. Ooh, I didn't think about that. How am I gonna offset these? Okay, this is actually a pretty big issue, I feel like, because I need some of them to start at this point in the cycle, but oh boy, this is not stable. Yeah, I need some of them to be here by default, but there's no way I'm gonna be able to do that, because this isn't gonna align to the build grid on the, in the build mode. Oh no, there's another issue. I can't even add another one of these. The structure's too complex unless I go into mods. There we go, complexity mod. All right, this is gonna get into dangerous territory as I'm exceeding the initial allowed complexity of the game here. Okay, so I should just be able to add a delay to the middle one. And hopefully I chose a good point where it's gonna be kind of opposite. Oh, this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. What is happening? Here, I'm gonna have a wheel to the bottom of the feet to maybe hopefully add some padding that'll allow them to not get destroyed. All right, now they just don't have any grip though. It's still kind of wanting to walk. It's not terrible. Like, well, it is terrible. No, it's terrible, but it's walking. But I don't think there's any way to wind power this, because with wind power, there's no way these things are going to be offset from each other. They're all going to try to move together, creating this lunging feel. And the build grid prevents me from offsetting these. All right, I added another set to hopefully increase the stability. I mean, it's going in a direction. I feel like this thing's way too heavy, though, for the winds. I mean, at least any of the calmer winds to do anything. And there's not a lot of flat land where the wind is. But look, we're walking. This is something, right? I mean, what's our we're at 1092 complexity. I don't think I've ever really built past the 700 complexity limit before. I literally had to use a mod to do this. But this by itself is pretty cool, isn't it? All right, you know what? We have something relatively basic here. Let's save this, bring it into the wind map, add some sails, and then just see what happens. Because I'm pretty sure if the wind starts pushing it, what's actually gonna happen is it's gonna wanna do this. They're all just gonna wanna move together. And you know what? This is kind of cool. If it does this with the wind, I'm gonna call that a wind. Get it? Because wind has the word wind in it. All right, let's get over there. Oh, whoa, what is happening right now? Why are we sliding so? Do the wheel, what? Is that the wind doing that? That can't happen. Is that really just wind power? Look at this. This is not good. Okay, hold on. What needs to happen though? I need to make all of these 0 strength. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's already kind of like starting a little bit, but if they don't have friction, they're not going to do the motion that they need. All right, out of curiosity, what happens if I remove the wheels? It's trying. It's already wind powered, but it's terrible. Okay, hold on. Like I was thinking about using this, because this is like a nice flat area. I mean, the lighting isn't great up here, but we have wind. It's unfortunate that it's in like a diagonal direction instead of, you know. Oh, it's trying so hard. Oh no, whoa, what's going on here? All right, hold on. Let's add some sails to this thing to actually catch the wind. All right, how's this gonna do now? Why does it feel worse? Oh, I'm not facing into the wind. All right, here we go. Now I'm just tipping over. All right, we need to add some weight to the oh, what if we add some weight to the feet? All right, how's that do now? Don't tip over. See, we need them to be offset from each other. How do we offset them? All right, let's put the sails on the bottom instead because we need the center of thrust to be less above the center of mass. It still wants to go forward, but that's just because the legs are offset. You know what? Let's see if anyone's done it on the workshop. I'm really curious if something like this actually exists. All right, let's type in Strandbeest. All right, this one says work in progress by Seth Boyardee. Let's download that. Oh, this is 2. Let's download version 2 then. All right, and by Brian and Dylan, here's another one. So let's see what these guys did. All right, so here we go. Here's Strandbeest 2. Oh, okay, so he did it the similar way to the way that I did it when it was powered. He just has the legs start offset from each other. So this doesn't solve our problem of when they're free floating, they're not going to be automatically offset from each other. But we can accomplish the same thing if we power them as well. I'm curious if any of them have a different way of having them start offset from each other. Oh, this one seems to do something here. Oh, see, this one is kind of different because they're actually connected to each other. So they start off the same, but then once you spawn it in, this one rotates 180 degrees. Watch this right here. See, now it's facing upwards. But see, this might actually be a better solution because I think these are attached to each other. All right, I think I got to rework my mechanism because I'm noticing that he did it kind of more like the original where the front and back legs are actually attached to the same center point. All right, I got a new potential linkage here. So this one servo right there should power both legs. And it looks like this actually works. Okay, so now here's the key part. If I duplicate this leg over here, I'm gonna have to make sure that these are attached. I have to make sure these ones are attached as well. And then I have the crucial part right here where this is going to make this rotate 180 degrees right when it spawns in. Okay, look at that, look at that. I got in position. And now, I think this is, wait, no, what's happening? Something's getting caught up. Oh, that's not good. I need to get that out of the way. Is it better now? No collisions? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. So much better. I think this could work. Oh, I think I might actually have it. Please let this work. Okay, so now here's what it walks like if it's powered. It's not the smoothest. I don't know what to expect with free-floating servos and wind, but this is the best I've had so far. I don't really have any room for sails now. I could probably put sails on the sides. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Man, I feel like I'm so close. Like, look, it just starts to walk, but it gets stuck at a certain part of the cycle, and I can't figure out. Like, something is getting it stuck somewhere, and I can't figure out what it is. I mean, I guess there are a lot of pieces that are kind of rubbing against each other a little bit. So, I don't know. I'm gonna try to do some optimizations. I'm running out of hope, though, and time. Okay, I've tried to make some modifications. I've added a bunch of weight to the back because I kept tipping forward. And this is what happens when it's powered. So you can see it's capable of walking forward, but it is sketchy. And I think that this just all comes down to the fact that my measurements have just been eyeballed. And this is supposed to be a very precise, precisely dimensioned mechanism. So that's what's really holding me back, I'm pretty sure. So this version is completely untested with the wind. So let's go ahead and turn the strength of these down to 0, free floating, and let's see what the wind does now. It just gets it to a certain point and then it freezes up, probably because of, yeah, the dimensions of the mechanism, like I was saying. But let's just get more wind power into this. I don't think any amount of wind power is actually going to be enough to get this to continue going. It just gets stuck here. Unless, what if we have stronger winds? Oh my goodness. Well, it's definitely stronger. It's tipping us over now. But yeah, we just get stuck and then we roll over. Man, it's so frustrating watching it attempt a step and then just freeze in the middle of the step. All right, I feel like I've tried just about everything, and the best I can do is to just imitate it by actually powering the servos, and even then, this thing's pretty terrible. But it just goes to show that engineering walking mechanisms isn't always that simple. And eyeballing it is probably not going to get you the results that you desire. But I feel like we got really, really close on this one. So I'm really curious. I would love to see if anybody in the Trailmakers community can get a genuinely 100% wind-powered Strandbeest mechanism that actually works. I would love to do a follow-up video seeing how people solve this problem and just seeing like the difference in, it's probably just my measurements that are messing this whole thing up, to be honest. My measurements, I didn't really measure, is the problem. But yeah, super cool concept. My version definitely doesn't work great. And arguably, it doesn't even work, especially if we're gonna qualify it by wind power only. But I tried to problem solve it, I got some progress, and this is where I ended up. So if you guys did enjoy this, I do have some other more successful versions of this concept that you can check out on the end screen right here. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.